Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Baker with the Action Hour every Saturday at 10, and I'm here with the wonderful Howie Berkowitz of the Duck Pond in Lake Elsinore. They're actually right on the lake, or right near the lake, I should say. And who is this wonderful creature, person, individual you have with you here, Howie?
This is my little Kayik, Whiskers. She's been with us for almost 16 years now, and she's my constant companion, basically.
How did she get the name Whiskers? Birds don't have whiskers.
I have no idea. That's the name she came with. I did because she says it so well. I didn't want to change it. So.
Oh my goodness! Hi,
They're
Whiskers.
little clowns. They like to do little tricks and
Bring
hang
her
up.
over a little more so our camera, we pick her up with the camera. Oh, wow. Flip her up. Let her go up if she wants to.
All right, Whiskers. Ready?
Come on, Whiskers. Show her how well the gymnast.
There you
go. You're a little bit off camera with her, but that's okay. Oh, she's adorable. Look at that.
And it's fun. She does her little trick. Like if she thinks you're mad at her, she'll roll on her back and sit there with her legs up.
I've seen people used to go bang like this to the parrot, and the parrot would go up with the legs up.
Yeah, so she's a little clown.
Well, anyway, we want to get into the story. Actually, Howie, you have over 80 birds, right? 80 different species there.
We do have a considerable amount. We've kind of lost count at a certain point, so we just say it's around 80.
And I understand almost every day, another 40 fly in, and we're going to show a video of that. Fly in, eat, and leave?
Well, 40 is a minimum number. We usually have anywhere from 40 to over 100. It's kind of mating season right now, so I'm sure a lot of these birds are sitting on nests somewhere. But during the summer and the winter time, we'll have over 100 birds fly in to the pond. They eat all of our food. They swim around in the pond. And then right around 5 o'clock, as dusk starts to occur, they take off and go back to wherever they're coming from.
That is amazing. And we have some footage of that we're going to show in a few minutes. Did you want to kind of show people around where you are? I'm going to make you full camera here. So just kind of, and if you could, can you turn your camera sideways? If it's too much. Yeah, beautiful. So this is the pond that you had built to accommodate. Talk about that a little bit, if you would, Howie.
Well, what happened was when we first bought the property, it was a decision of either building a swimming pool, and at that time we only had 5 ducks, and or building a duck pond, and of course the duck pond won out, obviously. So I just hired a couple of gentlemen off Craigslist, and we dug for 4 days solid, and then we poured a lot of cement and ran a lot of plumbing. And so now we have a duck pond.
And that's why you get all those visitors.
Well, what happened originally was we had rescued 12 little baby mallards. Some lady was hiking up in the mountains here behind us, and she found some baby mallards where the mom had been deceased from an attack from an animal. And so we rescued them and we kept them. And then eventually when they were maybe about 5 or 6 months old, we let them come out here to the pond. And one day they just took off with some of the wild birds, and they came back and they kept bringing more friends and more friends and more friends. So we started with 12, and at some point we wound up with over 100. So
that is just an incredible story. So I know you have several ponds all over the property, little swimming pool type ponds. I have a video of one. Let's just show that.
And well, we've kind of taken everybody and just kind of thrown them together. The 3 ducks that came from Los Angeles that had some leg problems, she's right there, and then her sister, and then 2 of the babies from the other day are in there. Little Mocha, little brown babies in there. The rest of them are just running away from me. I'm trying to get them in the water. There's her other sister. So everybody's, what we've done was built a little pen here, right here, so that they are kept separate from everybody else. They can go in and out of their little house. There's Princess, there's George, there's Quacky. Anyways, so they've got their own little private pool away from the general population. I gotta go get breakfast for them because now they're gonna start spraying water everywhere. Anyways, come and see us at the pond. to come visit the babies before they grow up, which is really fast. He's going to meet some other ducks. No. Oh, and now he's out of the pool. Well, I'm going to put him back with Princess for a little bit, and then we'll try and bring him back again when the other bossy ducks are not trying to be bossy. God, you guys are so bossy. There's 7 pools here. Why do you have to boss George out of there? Anyways, George is getting along.
Ah, that is just incredible. They have such personalities and they have relationships in a community. Are you with us, Howie? I see.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Is that?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Is that Pickles?
That is Pickles. This is Pickles, our little goose that likes to visit with everybody and likes to make himself known to everybody and likes to basically be the entire center of everybody's attention.
Well, right now he is the center of attention on Jane Unchained, the action hour, because our viewers are seeing him and he's going to go out and a lot of people are going to see him. But what we want those people to know is that Howie has a GoFundMe page because he has taken on this responsibility. And as you have just heard, if you've been listening or have tuned in already, you know, ducks, other animals are dumped here. Ducks fly in to the pond for shelter and safety and then fly out. It's a haven, but he needs help. This is a huge operation and undertaking. And I even understand that some of the shelters and local government in the area are asking him for help. I think they should be compensating and helping him. That's just my opinion. But if you want to donate or want to share this out to help him raise some money, we are going to be putting up in the comments just shortly. I'll put them up. The link to this GoFundMe page. Actually, I have a banner that shows it. It's got a short little name here, which I'll leave up. Not name, but it's got an alphanumeric code that you can pick up here. I'll leave it up. If you'd like to make a donation, $10, $20. As you can see, we have a goal here, and I'm going to be contributing because luckily I can. So if you can, and we know things are tough on people right now, but you know, even $10, $20, it adds up. And that's why we're doing this today. We want to raise awareness. Also, there is an amazing event coming up, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That's going to be a fundraiser for Howie and his organization. So right now, what do we have here? Go ahead, take it away.
This is our little baby duck that we got to the sanctuary here about 2 months ago. And what happened was these people decided that they were going to venture into duck raising, and they got them as eggs. And the unfortunate part was they decided that they were going to help her out of the egg. The yolk was still attached. So they basically just didn't do anything right. She's unable to walk now. Physically, she's fine. We think it's mental, that something got mixed up in her brain. So we're working with her. We've got her swimming now, and she can swim upright. She doesn't fall over as much. But if you put her on the ground, one leg is more dominant than the other, and it just kind of tries to push her over. And she enjoys sleeping on her side, which we don't want her to do anymore. But other than that, she's a super healthy eater. She eats more than any duck here. She's growing super well. And it's just, you know, unfortunately, she's going to be a 24/7 duck for quite a while. So.
Wow. And can you go in a little bit more detail about why, not that we want to encourage people to do this or even mention it, I mean, give them an idea, but if an egg is hatching to help and what that, you know, how that impairs now this animal for the rest, is it for the rest of her life or his life?
It's unfortunate. Well, we don't know if it's a girl or a boy yet.
Right.
Her name is Squiggy. So we're just gonna, it's kind of a unisex name. But yeah, you should never help an animal out of its shell. It'll come out when it's ready. You know, like I said, the yolk was still attached. It wasn't fully absorbed. And so obviously that's caused many problems with her.
Oh,
Growth
wow.
wise, she's
So
growing
that
fine.
means the
She's starting
nutritional
to feather in.
value,
I'm sorry.
the nutritional value in the yolk is necessary to be absorbed, and she was unable to do that, we're assuming.
Yeah, exactly. And we tried very much after she was brought here. We got her on a complete regimen. We talked to many vets, and we got her on thiamine and niacin and vitamin B and vitamin D, and did everything we can. And like I said, she's so much better when she swims now. Her feet are actually working in unison. But yeah, I don't think she'll ever be a normal duck. I think whatever we do, we'll have to probably at some point wind up building a wheelchair for her so that she'll be mobile, and hopefully that'll help her build strength in her legs and get her to get those legs working. The brain's an amazing thing. It can reroute signals. So I think with enough therapy, we can get her to be a semi-normal duck.
Oh, that'll be phenomenal. And we'll come back and check that out. And let's go ahead and watch a little bit more of a day in
So I
life.
think word has gotten out. You can't really see them. They're flying all over the place and then dropping in like bombs. So you can see how many are here already, eating all the food. Yeah, it's a crazy Monday morning. Oh, here comes some more. Here comes more. Oh, is it ever going to stop? Oh, here comes another one. They're flying in. All right, don't forget to stop by the duck pond of Lake Elsinore and visit us. We always appreciate donations of food. Okay, catch you guys later. There's more. Oh, there's still more. Today is going to be an interesting day. Oh, here comes a lot more.
That video always cracks me up.
Yeah, I just added the to the comments. I just added the GoFundMe. Do you want to come on camera for a moment? Can you somehow flip the camera but keep the view of the back? We'll keep an eye on what's going on at the sanctuary, but we can talk face to face because I do want to get into some of these issues that are very important. It's great to come there and visit you and have a good time, but there are some serious issues going on here that we do need to talk about and make people aware of and how they can help.
Yes.
So the first thing, of course, we saw you there getting bombarded by ducks coming in, and that's really interesting and fun and exhilarating to watch. But in addition to that, they leave and they go off and do their thing. So really the help you need there is to help give them food, right? And with resources.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people question why do I feed wild ducks, but obviously they wouldn't be coming here if they didn't need the nutrition. Lake Elsinore does not have a huge area of growth of greens for them to eat. It's the largest natural lake in California, but unfortunately they've built a lot around it, so it's lost a lot of the greenery that goes with that. So yeah, they fly in here every day. They eat all our food, which is fine, and then they take off around 5 o'clock.
But you do need help to feed them. So if anybody wants to make a donation that they know is going to really hit home, it's going to go immediately to you. You're going to immediately buy food, and these animals are going to benefit. And so that is an opportunity if you are able and so inclined. And we do ask you to do so. There will be, and I did flash this shortly. I want to flash it again. There will be an amazing event. Jane Elizabeth is going to be with who is the host of Vegan Creator Studio, will be hosting very generously. We are so grateful that she will be hosting a fundraiser on May 8th from 7 p.m. And it will have a lot of amazing artists, performers. For example, there are poets, there are songwriters, there are singers, musicians, comedians that come on and entertain you. And for the hour show, we ask you make a donation to help different organizations. In this situation, it will be Howie's The Duck Pond in Lake Elsinore, because we think he is doing amazing work. And so do these ducks and geese and parrots. And we want to see more animals. But let's talk about what's happening with people dumping pet ducks and waterfowl at local ponds. 98% of these ducks die when this happens, as they are not wild and are domesticated breeds. So they are big targets for predators. Let's address that point, Howie, if you could come on camera, as much as I
Oh,
love your little friends there, and
well,
let's address it.
let me see. Am I on camera? I can't really tell.
You are on camera now, Howie.
Okay. The reason I was showing that white duck just now is because he is a Muscovy, and unfortunately, those ducks were originally bred for meat ducks. That's why they're so large, and they cannot fly, and they have no defense whatsoever. And him, that's Goliath, along with the other 9 Muscovies that we have here, were all dumped at parks. It's a very sad situation. We get calls on a daily basis. My phone rings probably 4 to 5 times a day about people that are at parks and have found ducks that have been dumped there, and these are all domestic ducks. We've now, well, probably 75% of our ducks have come from ponds and lakes where they've been dumped. We have one particular lady who's a professional amateur fisherman, and she goes to a lot of lakes and ponds. And I get the call all the time. Oh, there's 8 domestic ducks down here, and then we gather up a group of people and rescue them and bring them down here so that they can have a happy life down here now. It's just sad. What happens is people get these little baby ducks at their feed supply stores, and they're not familiar enough with the nutritional needs or the basic life needs of these ducks.
You're
So when
saying
they grow up,
I'm sorry, just to interrupt you, just to give people a clear picture of how this happens. And it's almost like an impulse buy, right? Because they cost what, how much money to get one of these ducks?
a duck is like $3.
Yeah. So the kid may be yelling at the parent, oh, I want a duck, I want a duck. Is that how it happens?
Well, that's exactly how it happens. We had a lady call us at 4 a.m. 2 days ago, and her daughter did that exact thing. It was an impulse buy. She was at a Tractor Supply and wound up buying 2 baby ducks and brought them home, and these people had no idea. This poor woman stayed up all night being so scared about, not knowing how to raise these ducks, and her dogs were trying to attack them. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not a toy. And it's definitely an animal that needs a lot of nutritional needs and other needs. I mean, they need a lot of care. They're not like a chicken where you can buy a chicken, put it in the backyard, and pretty much it'll be on its own. Ducks are not like that. They know how to eat when they're born, but as far as nutritional value goes, they need very, very specific nutritional needs.
And how much water? I've always wondered, I have to admit this. When I was a child, my parents got me chicks and they got me a duck. I was a teenager. The duck did survive. I was very much in love with him. I named him Daffy, but he got to be a large duck and he was taken to a bird sanctuary by a friend. I don't know how, this was years ago, how good that was. But, one of the concerns we had was that he wasn't getting water. We put him in an aquarium and in the bathtub, and then after a while that just did cut it. So can you address that also as a pet? Don't they need a large area for water?
They absolutely do. Just to give you a small example, our water bill is $200 to $300 a month because all of our kiddie pools, we change them on a 3-hour rotation because ducks like to poop in their water and then they like to drink that water. So I am just very stringent about making sure that every pool is changed every couple hours. Our big pool, which is 1,000 gallons, although we do have filter systems, there's not really a filter system for the type of waste from the ducks. So we change that once a week. So that's 1,000 gallons that we change every single week. And yeah, we make sure that we have actually 8 kiddie pools around the property. And then we have the 1,000-gallon pond. And then we have about 7 or 8 water dishes so they can get water anytime they want. Ducks can't eat without water. That's the basic thing that people need to know. When they eat, they need water right there next to them.
I would think that suppliers of these animal, supply companies, feed companies, etc., and also the places that provide the people raising these animals, I think that they should donate to you and help you because it's partially the act of selling them. Of course, buying and selling. Is there any laws in effect that I mean, is anyone, I know there isn't, but there isn't any legislation in the works? In anybody talking about it, thinking about starting it to ban the sale of?
Not so much the sale, which is something that I've recently thought about figuring out how I'm going to do that, because it needs to happen. Again, anybody can buy a chicken, anybody can raise a chicken. It's not a big deal. Ducks are completely different, and people don't do the research to understand, you know, what they need to do. So there is a lady right now who's working on legislation to make it against law for dumping the ducks at parks and lakes. But again, you have to catch the people doing it. A lot of people do it in the middle of the night. I've had people call me and say, you know, 9, 10 o'clock at night, they've seen people walk up with their cages and just shoo the ducks into the lake. So yeah, it's something that needs to happen, because people are not educated about the raising of a duck.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a big point to get across. And that's why we want to have you on again, come back again, so you can keep talking about this and get this information out to people, that these are not toys. They're not gifts to give to children.
No.
And
no, and in fact, we post that at least once a week on our Facebook pages. If you want a duck, go buy a stuffed animal. The other thing that concerns us a lot is that the ducks that are dumped, people, for some reason, and I'm sure this has been for years and years and years, believe that stale bread or any type of bread is what they feed the ducks, and that's absolutely harmful to the ducks. It turns to sugar. It destroys their livers. It causes them to not have any of the nutrition. Even if they do eat what they need to eat, they're so full from the bread that they're not getting the proper nutrition.
I just want to jump in with one thing here and say, before we go too far, and I do want to stay on that point. I have a question for you about what to do with them. We do want to say that we don't condone buying chickens and keeping. I don't, and Gina speaking, we don't condone buying chickens. We condone eating a plant-based diet. But you're just saying that at least the chicken can, they have a better chance of survival, although
they have. Yeah, I am not. In fact, I was at Tractor Supply yesterday, and a few people came up to me and talked to me about it, and I was like, it's not a really good idea, but you know, you can't talk people out of it. And luckily, they had no ducks there, and that was one of the reasons I went to go there to check to see on that situation, and there were no ducks for sale. So
I wanted to jump in with one more question on the food. Like, say someone is at a park or a pond where they have ducks, the park is tending to them, they see the ducks, they should never feed them, right?
Well, people should never feed. Well, yeah, of course they should never feed them, because now we have several ducks here that won't even eat on their own. They wait for me to come out and hand feed them. They're so used to humans coming over and hand feeding them now that I have a problem with 2 ducks that refuse to eat on their own until I come out and spend the time and hand feed them. And I'm trying to break them of that. But yeah, it's not a good idea ever to take a wild bird and try and feed them. They need to find the food on their own. Otherwise, they'll become very reliant on humans, which we know is not reliable at all.
Yes, I got some really interesting images off your website. I don't know. I'm sorry, your Facebook page, which I'm going to show in a second. But I don't know if you can see what's on the camera right now, but I'm putting up a picture. It says, "Thank you for not feeding us bread." Exactly what you're talking about. Rotting bread pollutes our water and causes nasty surface algae, which kills our fish and gives us diseases. It also makes our water smell foul. Wow. And people think they're being do-gooders and throwing food.
Yeah.
I've thrown bread and
yeah, it's again
not knowing.
Yeah, and again, it also gives them angel wing, because what happens, again, we talked about that, the nutritional needs of a duck, because they're so heavy and their legs are so small and their muscles are tiny, they need the proper nutrition. Giving them bread causes something called angel wing, where their feathers grow out to the side, and it's just not a pretty thing. And I've had arguments with people that, well, I've been feeding them bread for 10 years and I've never had a problem. And so you can't argue with people like that. But, you know, if you are going to feed ducks in the wild, grab a bag of frozen peas. The niacin in the peas are the most important things that they need for their muscles. So
that's easy. A bag of
you go to the grocery store for $2, you buy a bag of frozen peas, and your kids can hand them out, or put them out. Obviously, they want to be defrosted. I've had people bring me frozen peas that are frozen solid, and I just kind of laugh. So.
What if other birds eat the peas? Is that okay? Like there are pigeons in the area and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I give we have an aviary full of pigeons, and they basically eat any vegetable that we give them. They're, peas are great for everybody. So
that's good. Okay, I want to show a couple of pictures here. Your sound's going a little soft too. I wanted to show some of the images here, and maybe you could talk about these different individuals that you've rescued, like this Mr. Rooster here.
How do I get back to that? Well,
I'll play a video while you try to get back, and then if you still can't, we'll figure it out.
Okay, we'll figure this out here.
All right. There we go. We got a question, Howie. Whoops. He's back.
I'm back, man. No, now I can see everything. Okay.
We have a question here. Can you see me? Yeah, good.
Yes.
But when we are in this is a question from Kim Delgado, but when they're in natural pond, lake, or other body of water, no one changes the water. Why do you have to change yours so often is the question.
In natural ponds and lakes, they have bacteria in there that eat the waste. There are other fish and other things that are in the water. A friend of mine has a huge pond in his backyard that doesn't have ducks in it, but he keeps lobsters in there, and those are part of the natural ecosystem. So they take care of that. The bacteria takes care of that. We don't introduce any of that into our pond. It's just all, it is fresh water every couple days. So.
Yeah. Another thing she said, what food should you feed them instead? And you mentioned, and then bird balls. Do you know what this bird balls, nuts and grains? Is that okay too?
I've read a lot about people that feed ducks seed and grains. I personally don't give my ducks that. I don't see the nutritional value in it. The same thing, people will go to a supply store and buy scratch. And I always kind of laugh because scratch is basically candy for animals. Same thing with chickens. It should never be a staple diet. Scratch is like I said, it's a treat. It's corn, it's grains, and things like that. And people always say, well, I don't feed the bread. I'll go to the store and buy scratch. And I'm like, for the same amount of money, you can buy a nice bag of Nutrina duck food, which has all the niacin and all the nutrients they need. And it's the same price, and it's so much better for the ducks. And in fact, there's actually another company that sells floating pellets that if you could even put them in the water and they're not affected by the water.
We have the question again, do ducks make good pets? Never thought of it. Now, let me just frame this a little bit. If someone was a responsible caretaker, for example, I know a lot of people, it's becoming quite normalized to have a chicken as a pet. And the chicken turns out to be, if you have the facility to keep it, et cetera, a good pet, not to take their eggs, et cetera, but just to rescue a chicken. Is that something that is viable with a duck, or is that just like, no, ducks are wild?
No, I follow quite a few people on Facebook that have ducks as pets. And yeah, I mean, it depends. If you have hardwood floors, it's obviously better. But they do make duck diapers. And the problem with the duck diaper, I was reading a thing this morning about it, and unless you start the ducks very young with the diapers, it's not a comfortable thing for them. And if you have an adult duck that you've rescued or that you've taken in, probably not going to happen. As far as a pet to keep in the yard, as long as you have someplace at night that they can stay and they're safe. I get calls again all the time where half their flock was killed by predators because they don't put them away at night. So as long as you have even a doghouse, I mean, anything that they can be safe in at night, and they can free range during the day. Of course, you still have, depending on where you live, we still have hawk problems. But that's solvable too by putting owls out. So it's having them as pets is wonderful. They're amazing animals.
You mean artificial owls that?
Yes, I put the artificial owls out to keep because we have a lot of Cooper's hawks in this area, and since we've put the artificial owls out, they don't come into our property at all.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ducks that are going to need to be rescued. So if that's a viable thing, I think that's where this whole movement is coming from, people having chickens as pets, because as animal agriculture ends, there are going to be a lot of animals that need to go to sanctuary, like your organization. This is why it's so important. You happen to be one of only 2 bird sanctuaries in the entire state. And
well, we're not bird sanctuaries, but actual duck sanctuaries. We're one of 2 people that will actually take ducks. And in fact, I had a lady from Los Angeles call me yesterday, and she was on the phone for over 2 hours, couldn't find anybody. So she actually drove 2.5 hours to bring us 2 little baby ducks that they had gotten. So it's most of these places are either full to capacity or they're just not taking ducks. We're hooked up with 3 humane societies. And again, the same thing from parks. We get calls almost once a week. Can you please take these ducks? And our property right now is large enough that we could handle, maybe 15, 20 more ducks. But we're going to have to build more structures because housing is our issue at this point.
And that's my next question. We know you need to raise some funds, and we're going to try and help you do that. What would you be doing with the money? How would that help you?
Right now, we've been self-funded for the last 5 years. So basically, I've paid for everything out of my pocket. So we're trying to, with the immediate funds, we're trying to get our 501c3 so we can get some help from some corporations, get some major donations. I've had a lot of people tell me, "Oh, we'll donate a large sum, but you're not a 501c3." So it came down to the point was, can we spend the money on that, or do we spend the money on food? And it's always come down to we have to spend the money on food right now. We calculated it yesterday, and unfortunately, we're spending close to $3,000 a month on food right now. So it's a huge part of our bill. We spend, again, the money on the water. So we're about $3,500 a month just to feed and water these animals right now.
And you have an adoption program, right? That you can adopt. Is this the right one that I pulled up?
Yeah. No, that's the one about don't take. That's the fact that a duck is a 10-year commitment. It's like getting a dog. I mean, people think, oh, and it's funny, when I first started this, everybody said, oh, duck lifespan is 5 years max. And I was like, well, that seems kind of strange. My very first duck is still here, and he's 8.5, and he's doing fine. He just runs around and has a great time. So it's something you got to consider being a 10-year commitment, depending on when you get the duck. So. And
a parrot. What about a parrot? Can be up to 50 to 70 year.
A parrot is basically going to be in your will because they'll outlive me. This Whiskers right now is about 23, and she'll probably live to over 50. We have 3 blue and gold macaws that are a little bit younger that all came from shelters, and they live to close to 70 years old. So I've already warned my heirs. They're going to be getting some birds at some point.
I mean, I'm laughing because when you said she'll live to be 50, she went, it's almost like she said, damn right. Because she made that right after was priceless.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I mean, if you have animals, pets, we have our pets. Well, I like to call them companion animals. I try to remind myself that pets is not, that's not a very respectful word. Companion animals. They're all covered in our will, and even the parrot that I had, I know where he is. I can visit him, and I told the gentleman, I said, if you want me to do a fund for him, he said, no, I've already done a fund. He's covered when I go, because you have to plan for that with a parrot, like you said.
I absolutely, and my life insurance agent kind of chuckled when I said I need a separate policy for the parrots because if something should happen to me, they will be taken care of quite well. So yeah,
but how do you do that? You put the life insurance on yourself, and then the people use the money, or how does that work? There's not really.
Yeah, I put the life insurance. I have 2 policies: one to take care of the house if something happens, and the other one is to take care of the sanctuary.
Wow.
So
that's amazing, Howie. So this will go on
Yes. Hopefully I've started something that will carry on. It really is amazing to me that, and I didn't start this with this intention. It's really amazing to me that there's only 2 of us in California that are actual sanctuaries. There are rescues that will take them in, but then, and we've gotten plenty of ducks from them, but it's kind of amazing. They're, as rescues go, you know, just like dogs or cats, they house them for a temporary, they foster them, and then they find them homes. And when I started this, I never in a million years imagined I would only be one of 2 people that take ducks as a sanctuary. So
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, and that's why I think people need to know about you. I was going to say, there's a lot of corporations that can donate. We just got to get you your 501c3, right? We got to get that set up.
Again, like when I said, when I started this,
that's what the fundraiser is going to help with, that and feeding to get you going. And from there, you know, you're going to be able to, people are going to get to know more and more about what you're doing, because this is sort of something that fell on you in a sense, right? You didn't go open up a sanctuary. You just became a sanctuary as the need came. Let's look at some of the pictures and let's talk a little bit about the different species you have. You have the black swan here.
Yeah, this is Billy the black swan, and interesting story. A wonderful, wonderful lady found Billy at a pond, and he was as close to death as possible. He could barely lift his head up. He was very young, so somebody had either dumped him or he got lost. Or they're native to Australia, New Zealand. They're not native to the United States at all. So she rescued him. She saved him. She had him for about a year, and again, she lived in a condo. And as you can tell, Billy's quite a large animal. And then she found us, luckily, and she brought us here, or she brought him here, and he's extremely happy. I mean, I'm so happy every day I go out and see him. He has friends, even though we'd like to find a mate for him, but like I said, I've been doing research, and the chances are pretty unlikely that we'll find a mate for him at this point.
They're pretty picky about who they mate with.
Actually, it's kind of funny. I have another story about the geese that we've rescued. We got a goose. Romeo came in from a park in Santa Ana, and he had just lost his mate. And it's kind of a sad story. The people were there feeding him. He was in a lake in Santa Ana, and they feed him and his mate every single day. And then one day, this nice gentleman who had been feeding him for 6 months noticed the mate was gone, and he called me about this. And I said, well, if the mate's gone for more than 2 or 3 days, then she's gone. And sure enough, she never reappeared. So she brought him here. And everybody tells me, oh, same thing. Oh, gooses mate, or geese mate for life. Well, as it turns out, the San Diego Humane Society called me a few days later and said, hey, we have a Chinese horned goose that we'd like to know if you would like to take him or her. And I'm like, of course, we have a male right now. Well, if you see one of my videos, and it's on there, it took basically 1 day. They fell in love. They're never apart anymore. So I know people say they're kind of picky, but Romeo is now in love with Juliet. They're together 24/7. The other weird part is we rescued another goose, and that was for Pickles, and we named her Mrs. Pickles. And well, she's now with Romeo also. So now he has 2 girls, and Mr. Pickles has no girls.
Oh, no wonder Mr. Pickles is always getting in trouble.
Well, it was his choice.
Business.
It was his choice. We offered Mr. Pickles, Mrs. Pickles, and we put them together, and he had no interest whatsoever in Mrs. Pickles. So so now it's a little throuple, and so now Romeo has Mrs. Pickles and Juliet by his side 24/7. So
I have put together a couple more little videos I wanted people to get to see. So let's play this one. Huh. They're short, but got one more. I had shown that one before, but it was worth seeing, so I let it go. We're actually, Howie, we are down to 40 minutes, and I don't want to miss out on you getting to talk about something that you might feel really is important to tell people. And so I want to go ahead and see what would you like to get out there to everyone? Make sure that we get the message out today.
Well, I think we've kind of gone over it. I mean, the most important thing is baby ducks are not toys. They shouldn't be purchased. It is a 10-year commitment. And not only that, it's a 10-year commitment to nutrition and to care of these animals. It's not like, it's not like a dog where you can leave for work for 8 hours and come home and the dog's going to be perfectly fine. They're delicate animals. And the other point is, if you do wind up with one, please don't dump it at a park or a lake. I'm here. We leave no duck behind ever. That's our motto. Wow. So if somebody has a duck and they can't take care of it any longer, I'm never going to say no. I've gotten calls where people have told me, "Hey, my friend's going to go dump this duck. Can I bring it there?" And I'm like, absolutely, bring it here. And we have a wonderful friend, Josh, who's our transporter, and he will drive anywhere in California to pick these animals up for us.
Wow, you are just an angel. You are just an animal angel, Howie. And we at Jane Unchained, we want to do everything we can to help you. So please, folks, if you can, make a donation, share this out, have a watch party, tell people about May 8th. We'll be putting up promotional information. Like I said, right here on this channel, Jane Unchained News media outlet, you are going to see the Vegan Creator Studio on May 8th, 7 p.m. So please be there. There'll be amazing performers, entertainment. It'll be uplifting. It's a happy note in a time where we are all challenged. But Howie, I just want to say you are just doing such amazing stuff. We did stop showing because each one of these creatures are just so incredibly beautiful and interesting.
They all have amazing personalities as you get to know each one of them. The the sad thing is right now it's springtime and we've had to actually separate 15 of our females from the males because they were getting a little rambunctious with the females. So it's getting a little crowded in our pen here with 15 females and a couple of babies. So we really do need everybody's help so we can carry on our mission and
more pens and build out some more.
Yeah, any donations, even of pens or food. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be money. Any kind of donation we will take. We actually put the babies in little pack and plays, and we have 3 of those currently. But again, this is springtime, and we've gotten 7 phone calls this week alone of babies that were either abandoned or people need to give them up. So all our pack and plays are full right now with little babies. But we keep them in a special room inside the house at 80 degrees, keep everybody warm and fed. So my housekeeper's not happy about all the duck spray everywhere, but that's all right. They need to be inside warm and safe.
It's amazing. Let me just bring up your website here if we can. Not your website. I'm so sorry. Your
Facebook page.
Yes.
We just opened a website last night.
Oh, wow. Well, what's the URL?
It's elsinoreduckpond.org.
Let me see if I could grab that up. Keep talking, Howie, and I'll just try to get this up. A friend of mine's a computer programmer, and I said, we really need to get a website up for this. So he spent a couple hours yesterday, and he got this. So there's not a lot of content on there right now, but we will be transferring all our videos on there, and we will putting our GoFundMe link up on there. And then daily we will update pictures and as we get new animals and all the antics of the animals that we have now. So did you find it? I found it, but it seems that it's needs a little bit more work on it because the image wasn't coming up. So next time
he just started working on it. So it should be up in about a week and running.
I just want to bring up your page here on Facebook so people can that's where I got all this amazing stuff. So here's the babies.
There's the two babies.
I want to see what
So
you got.
again, they're going to move from the kitchen sink to the bathtub by next week, and I give them maybe 2 times a day. They go for swimming.
That looks exactly like my Daffy. When I was little, I had a yellow duck. Exactly.
Yeah,
Beautiful little baby. Let me just go scroll down here. Oh, I love swans. Swans, I don't know, ever since I grew up, it's such a beautiful, always was such a beautiful symbol to me, the
yeah.
swan. And why does this duck have this sort
That
of
well,
yeah,
he's sort of like a rooster. He's a Muscovy duck, and that's their bred and or their breed. And that little patch of hair is like a mohawk, and it actually raises and lowers depending on the curiosity level of the duck. So like if you walk up to him and you're new, that little mohawk goes right up. Um,
wow.
and
I wish
they are very special personality ducks. They're absolutely amazing.
And here's another beautiful, clean. I love the pens are so beautiful and clean
So
looking and the
yeah,
sun
we
streaming
clean.
in.
We
And
need more volunteers. We have two gentlemen now that come once a week and they help me do the pens. But I mean, volunteers are always needed. People are always like, well, what can I do? And I'm like, the pens get dirty every night. We need to change the pens. Again, the whole water thing is every 3 hours we change all the waters. They eat like crazy, so we're constantly filling up the food bowls. So nobody can ever say any of our ducks are underfed. We have some very fat ducks.
look at this beauty here. Now
No,
he,
he was a mistake. He was born on the property. We do
oh,
have chickens here. Not a mistake like that, but we do gather the eggs up every day because we don't believe in breeding. We don't need more animals, so we gather the eggs up every day. Well, we had a chicken that decided to hide in one of my classic cars, and one day I walked by the car with the car cover on it, and I hear a bunch of clucking come out of it, and he was one of 11 chickens that she had become very broody. So, and he's very special. We don't know
name?
the dad who mated with, but we have the dad who's Elvis, and just a beautiful rooster. He's so amazing.
So this is Elvis?
No, that's Elvis's son.
What's Elvis's son's name?
Elvis, he's called Dr. Smith.
Oh, okay. Dr. Smith. And how about this one? What type
Well,
of bird is that?
well, those are silky chickens, and I never meant to get the moniker of Birdman of Elsinore, but I was at a garage sale about 5 months ago, and a lady recognized me off Facebook. She's like, "You're the Birdman of Elsinore," and I'm like, "Yes." And they had found 6 silky little chickens wandering around the street, and luckily they saved all 6 of them. And she's like, "Please, please, please take them. We don't have any way to raise these chickens." So we've been raising little silky chickens, and that's salt and pepper right there.
I just want to remind people that they can come to your facility for a visit. And if they contact you, how do you like them to contact you to do that?
I prefer text. I always post my phone number everywhere. They can
You?
contact me through Facebook or text. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And just send me a text and say you want to come visit. And unless it's a day that I'm out going, we we go through 3 cases of red leaf lettuce a day. And unfortunately, I was buying it from the grocery store, and I just found a source that I can get it wholesale. So 2 days a week, I have to drive to Orange County, which is an hour drive each way to go pick up the lettuce. So there are times where I have to either go get the lettuce or I have to go pick up other duck food. But all the rest of the time, we welcome visitors, especially weekends. We have probably 10 to 15 people every weekend come and bring their children, and they get to learn about ducks.
And they can make donations, of course, and that's very appreciated.
Oh yeah, we always ask. People always they're very very kind. They'll either bring frozen peas, which is like we push on the website, or they'll bring us a bag of the Nutrina duck food, or they just bring us money so that we can go out and buy more duck food for them.
That is so nice. And like I said, I'll be making a donation. I think your organization is amazing. Yeah, what more can we say, folks? Look at what's going on. I mean, you can see this man is full of love by this beautiful little bird here.
Well, like I said, she became my mate when I first got her. Her and I bonded almost immediately. She was in a situation that was it was a very bad situation. She belonged to a drug abuser she basically got zero attention. She was always in a cage. None of our parrots live in cages. They're all free to roam. We have 2 bird rooms here, and they have cages in there that they can walk around and go in and out of if they want to, but nobody's confined to a cage. Whiskers has a little mate, little Myers parrot, and they actually sleep in a dog bed on the couch. They have their own room with a couch and a TV, and so they sleep together on a little dog bed. And what I do is I put my T-shirts that I wear, so it has my scent, and I line the dog bed with it, and that's where they go into sleep every night. And,
now they stand on their feet because I thought birds have to perch to sleep.
Well, not my birds. My birds sleep. This one, Whiskey, before she goes to, I call her Whiskey. Before she goes to bed at night, she actually crawls in my shirt and she presses her chest as hard as she possibly can against my heart so that she can feel my heartbeat. And then after about an hour of that, we'll watch TV together. And then I'll put her in her little bed. And she cries that I take her away. But no, they actually, her and Lucky sleep in a dog bed.
Right?
Yeah. And a lot of people have bought those little like a little tent, and they've found that birds like sleeping in those. So they don't necessarily have to perch. The larger birds do, but I have a blue and gold that actually spreads out over the whole top of the cage, and he lays down like over the curve. So yeah, a lot of birds like to lay down.
Wow. Well, Howie, you have so much information about birds, and I definitely want you to come back again. And I will be watching the for the fundraiser on May 8th. There will be a fundraiser coming up shortly, right? What day of the month is May 8th? Let me look real quick for our audience. May 8th is going to be on a Saturday, May 8th, Vegan Creator Studio with Jane Elizabeth on Jane Unchained News Network, and we will be raising funds, be a fundraiser. So, but please share this video out. That's one way you can help if you can't make a donation right now. Plan a trip, bring your friends, bring your non-vegan friends. I actually, real quick story, a woman came to work with us to help my mother, and she's becoming vegan, and she's going to a sanctuary now. I'm going to, when she had to take a break because her dad had a heart attack. They're not vegan. Not to say that that's the only reason, but I think it would help, and I'm trying to help her convince him coming. But I would love them to come at Lake Elsinore and check you guys out, because she has a granddaughter that's an animal lover, and we want to get her to be part of the movement. We want to get the kids involved. So we're always recruiting.
Nice.
But it's been wonderful having you, Howie. Any last words? We're just about at the end of our hour. It went by really fast.
Yeah, it did. No, we posted all the time. Just hug your duck. Just they love to be held, and they're people are like you hug your birds, and we actually have a goose here that was dropped off recently, and I actually have to, and I don't know how I divide my time between everybody, but I actually sit with him every night for an hour, and he lays his head around my neck, and I just hold him, and I can feel his little heartbeat slow down, and his eyes will start to close. And I think you have a picture of him.
I do.
With me holding him.
I'm trying. I don't know if it's very clear.
There it is, right there. Yep.
Yeah, I saw in a video that he had himself wrapped around your neck.
Yeah. So every night I try to spend about an hour with him, and I calm him down, and I pet him. And he's handicapped. He only has one leg. The other leg, again, this is from nutrition deficiency, and that's what happens to these ducks is if they don't get the proper nutrition when they're young, it will affect their muscles very, very badly. So yeah, he's the most amazing animal ever. He's like a parrot. He just wants to be held. He lays his head down. He just wants to be held and be close to me. So I actually lay down in the straw among the duck poop, and I don't care anymore. I just lay down and I just hold him. And it just makes me feel amazing every night. I feel bad when I have to leave him, but can't sleep in his pen. So yeah, they're absolutely amazing animals. The same thing with pigeons. People don't realize the amazingness of a pigeon. We have one pigeon that actually, when I walk into the aviary, he jumps on my shoulder and we walk around the property. He coos to me for however long we walk around, and then he gets depressed when I have to take him off. But I can only hold so many birds at a time. And that's the other thing. We'd love to have people come here and sit with animals. I mean, we need volunteers to do nothing more than just to sit with animals. We have a cockatoo upstairs, and she just loves people. She's the sweetest bird in the world. And again, because of what I'm doing, I spend 3 hours at night with her. She loves watching Seinfeld, so we watch Seinfeld every night together, and then I have to put her to bed. But if anyone wants to come over and just hold a bird and just spend time with the bird and see how amazing they are, we really appreciate that.
I bet you could use a volunteer to put together some programs like this where they could bring after school children and different things like that, where you could interface with the community. Maybe the community can support you more, you know what I mean, in terms of what you're doing. So volunteers are needed. Supplies are needed. Financial assistance is needed. You know, Howie's got the love. He's got not unconditional, unlimited and unconditional love, but he needs some material support. And I know it's coming. Now that people know, I know it's coming. And please, again, share out this video, tell your friends, go visit. What a lovely afternoon. Take your kids for a ride to Lake Elsinore and visit Howie's Sanctuary. Bring a bag of food. Be an amazing day.
Bring some frozen peas and everyone will be happy.
Okay, Howie, we're going to say goodbye. We'll see you at the date of the event, May 8th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Jane Unchained. Be there. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's absolutely amazing what people will do for us. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for what you're doing for the animals, because they are part of the ecosystem and they need to be saved, and you're doing a huge job to support them. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just want to say thank you for everyone who's watching this, and hope that we see you at the pond sometime. We're always welcoming visitors, always.
Stay on, Howie. I'm going to go off the air, though. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.